So let's begin the program by saying hello to Jayden Daniels, who's going to come on over here. He is the quarterback for LSU. He's looking all styling. Jayden, how are you? Frangie, nice to meet you. Put that headset on, and we'll be ready to go. Looking style. I like the suit, man. How are you?
I'm good.
You having fun today?
I am. How y'all doing?
We are doing great. So is this what you expected? Crazy, or did they prepare you for this?
I did a media day at Pac-12 one day, but it's nothing like this.
Nothing like that.
You know, it's a lot going on here. It's crazy, but it's fun also.
Well, I'll bet there. Well, congratulations on making it here and on a terrific season last year.
Thank you.
Look back on it for a second. Obviously, you had to win a job.
Yeah.
You had to go to a new school. For people that don't know, Jayden started at Arizona State. You had to win a job, and you had to win over teammates. You had to win over fans, and by the time that thing got going, you had a terrific season. So congratulations. Yeah. How did it go? What was fighting for the job like? A new school, a new part of the country? Take us through that a little.
All play hand in hand. Coming from the West Coast, going to the South, like you said, a new part of the country, going to a new school, trying to win over a locker room while also trying to win a job and do my job, gain the respect of the guys. Within my play, not trying to overstep my boundaries. Even though I came in, I had a lot of experience within college football. Still had to go in there and earn the respect of the guys because at the end of the day, I had to prove to them that I could play at a high level, and I'm the guy that people were talking about. With the competition, it was a healthy competition. We pushed each other each and every day. Coaches, I was blessed for the coaches to nod me as a starter. And really, by then, it's trying to win over the locker room now. I'm the guy now, and then went over the fan base within my play. So like you said, by the time we got going, we ended the season on a very high note. I wish we ended on a better note, but I'm proud of what we did.
So Jayden, let's look at this now. You had to win over the locker room.
Yeah.
You had to win the job. You had to win the fan base. And oh, by the way, you had to win games.
Yeah.
Good grief! In a matter of 2-3 months before you got on the field, right?
Yeah.
So now your second season has arrived. Brian's talking about you being one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, not just the SEC. Is that your goal now, and how are you getting there this offseason?
I appreciate people talking about me in that regard. But my thing, I want to be the best quarterback for LSU, and hopefully that leads to being the best quarterback in the nation at some point. But the best quarterback at LSU is what I strive to be, the best person that's leading LSU out there. So I can help them win football games and help my teammates accomplish their goals. Also accomplish our team goals that we have set, the SEC West, win the SEC, and hopefully compete for a national championship.
Jayden Daniels with the LSU quarterback. All right, last year had a tough loss at home against Tennessee. It was a tough loss.
Tough.
But it almost seemed like that was a turning point. You guys got it going 1 week later, obviously against Florida, and then never really stopped. Is that when the light went on for your team? Did it feel that way to you?
It did. That's the turning point for us on our season. It was an embarrassing loss, tough loss at home. Both ranked teams coming in. The game got out of hand very quickly with a great team of Tennessee and what they did last year. That was kind of the turning point. After that we had a team meeting, the players only meeting, I should say. And saying basically how do we want our season to finish, how do we want to end our season. And we all made the decision that we're going to give it everything we got. And no matter the outcome, we know that we gave our best effort. And then, we start rattling off wins. We start buying into the process, trusting each other. And I would say that game was really the turning point for us.
So, Jayden, Brian K. was talking about how you and Mike Denbrock are working more together, and that you're giving much more input into play calls, play scripts, ideas like that. How comfortable are you with that, and are you excited about that moving forward?
I'm very comfortable with that. Going out there, obviously, offensive coordinator wants to call plays that obviously the quarterback likes.
Right.
Speaking up and saying I don't like this is not bad, because obviously if I'm not comfortable with it, or saying can you explain this to me and how do we want to attack the defense with that, and if I still don't understand it, at the end of the day they'll take it out. But being more comfortable having those conversations with Coach Denbrock, with how he recruited me and how he said he wants to help me.
Right.
I feel very comfortable having those conversations with him.
Jayden, final question for you. Thank you for spending some time. You got tough teams in the conference, Alabama and Florida and all those teams. But this thing starts in Orlando in our state.
Yeah.
And it starts against a really good Florida State team who has a quarterback much like you, a older guy, a transfer. The teammates trust him. You and Jordan are similar in a lot of ways, and that's a big game. I know it's a couple months out, but you got to be thinking a little bit about that one, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, as camp starts in the next couple of weeks, obviously our mindset is going to be on getting better within camp. But obviously Florida State is on our mind because it's our first game, and it's a very great team. If we don't come prepared, it could get out of hand very quickly. With everything they got coming back, with a experienced quarterback at helm, Coach Norvell. Going out there and calling the plays and leading his troops out there, it's going to be an exciting match, especially how they finished the season off last year and how we finished the season off. It should be a great week one matchup.
Jayden Daniels, the terrific quarterback from LSU. I know you're busy right now. Thanks for spending some time. Good luck today.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All
appreciate
right, Jayden Daniels, a terrific quarterback and a terrific interview as well. Great having him on the program today.
We're going to get Brian Kelly here shortly.
And Brian Kelly's going to jump. We're going to wait. Are we going to wait for Brian's coming momentarily? I think we're going to have Brian.
Yeah, Brian will be here shortly.
Brian Kelly, the LSU head coach, will stop by for just a second.
But until then, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, it is
Jimbo
crazy.
Fisher's up next in the big room.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting with Jimbo. We talked about it on prime time. Talking about it now. It's a big year for him. A big year with a big decision. Adding Bob Petrino as his offensive coordinator, two big egos trying to get along.
Yeah.
In a big power pressure cooker job, I should say.
Let's talk for a second about and we'll get to Jimbo in a bit. And Hayes and Lauren will rejoin us in a bit as well. But Brian Kelly's right around the corner. Let's talk for a bit about LSU. And I thought Matt Moscona is going to join me later on in the program. Nobody knows LSU better than him. What a story, Matt. What a story about, you really like Brian Kelly. You know him well. And you believed it would work the minute he got the job. But nobody else did. They mocked him, the accent, all the stuff. But, man, he did a great he did a great job there.
It's two reasons why I thought that. Number one, he's a great coach. Great X's and O's coach.
Right.
He's proved it everywhere he's been, from the NCAA lower divisions at Grand Valley State to Central Michigan, where he turned that program around, won a conference, to Cincinnati, where he turned the program around, had an unbeaten season.
Yeah.
That unbeaten team played Florida in that bowl game.
That's
remember,
right.
He was not the coach. He had gone on to Notre Dame after the last game. So he's also a guy that had been recruiting at Notre Dame at a high level with the inherent obstacles at Notre Dame. And I make this analogy all the time. He was sipping out of a straw recruiting at Notre Dame. He went to LSU, and he was standing in front of a fire hydrant with his mouth open.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's how it works. That's you get players win games.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Brian Kelly, now the LSU football coach, is going to make his way down here and talk a little SEC football with us. What a job he did, the former Notre Dame coach, as the LSU coach. I think Brian's making his way down here right now. As a matter of fact, so we'll say hello to him real quick as he joins us on the program. So we'll keep it right here. There's Brian Kelly, the LSU coach. Coach, good to see you. Frangie, how are you? And Coach Kelly's going to join us right now. Busy day in his dapper Navy suit.
Look how good you look, man.
You look good. How are you?
I've been in Italy on the Mediterranean diet.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah. Gotta get out of town.
Explain it real quick. What is it? The Mediterranean diet.
Oh, it's just eat pasta, drink red wine,
It's a great diet. I'm going to try, Brian. I'm going to try that.
and hang out at Lake Como.
There you go.
Good for you.
Thanks for joining us. How are you? How's the off season been? Good.
Good. There is no off season. You get a little time in July.
Yeah.
June is crazy because you've got camps, and we did official visits the entire month of June. So, and then you just find some time, the first week or so, in July, to get away a little bit, and then, you got to keep an eye on the store. You can't go away too long.
Right. So we just had Jayden here.
Yeah.
What a great kid, number one.
Awesome.
Number two, I love how you got in there in the big room and you said, Jayden's got to work. He's got a good guy behind him. Jayden loves that, doesn't he? He loves being pushed like that.
That's how he didn't come back just because, it's LSU and I'm not ready. He came back because he wants to get better. And Garrett Nussmeier makes him better. Garrett Nussmeier is better because of Jayden Daniels, because he has somebody to compete against. And so when you have a 1-2 quarterback combination like that, that's a competitive advantage that we have. That other teams don't have that kind of depth at that quarterback position, so it's a good situation.
Brian Kelly with us, the LSU head coach. Look, you've done this before. You went from Cincinnati to this esteemed school at Notre Dame, but then did it again last year, and another esteemed school and great expectations. and really surpassed those. Was there ever a time when you took either one of those jobs, Notre Dame or LSU, when you looked up and go, wow, these stadiums are loud here. I heard you talk about that earlier. How did the whole thing come about for you?
Well, I mean, I think everything's time and place, right? I mean, you look at where you're at, 13 years at Notre Dame. I think I had a different mindset going to Notre Dame, is that we wanted to modernize football at Notre Dame. We felt like they had slipped. And we wanted consistency, and that they were back really in terms of being relevant. And I think we checked those boxes. I didn't necessarily want to go there and have a statue. I mean, it was much more about bringing that football program back. We thought we did that, and then other opportunities become available, and you measure, where you're at versus what LSU has to offer. And we felt like my wife and I talked about it. We had one more left in us.
Yeah.
LSU provides incredible resources. You can recruit the state of Louisiana and maybe a couple others.
And you're pretty good.
Not the entire country.
Right.
We said, you know what? Let's give this a shot, a different part of the country. We're excited about coming to Louisiana. And it's worked out great.
So we were talking to Jayden. He said he had to win the locker room, win the job, win the fan base, and win games. And I'm thinking, well, BK had to do the same thing. You literally had to do the same thing.
No doubt.
So at what point do you think you felt during the season, all right, I've hit those 4 things?
Probably, I had to win the players over after the Tennessee loss. And so we stayed positive and stayed on course with what we were doing. That I think was the turning point in the season, that we kept our players committed to what we were doing in our plan. Then we won. We got the real good comeback win against Ole Miss, and then it took off from there. I think that's when the fan base said, you know what, this is going to be a pretty good football team. They played the right way. They played for 4 quarters. We overcame a 17-point deficit on the road and won that game. I think it's the great thing about SEC football is they respect you if you play the game the right way. Yeah, everybody wants to win a championship. I get that. But if you play the right way, they're going to respect you. And we played the right way, and I think our locker room then came together because of that.
Brian, final thing here. You have a brutal schedule because you're playing the SEC. But you start with a really good football team.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know that's the wave now. People want to start with a really good non-conference team. But you start with a really good one, a veteran quarterback just like you have, a good football coach who calls his plays.
No doubt.
Talk about the importance of that game. It's in our state. It's in Orlando. Talk about the importance of that game as you move toward your season. I think it's a critically important game.
The importance is that it's on the schedule and they know it. So the way they train, the way they work out, the way they prepare, their focus in camp, they know who they're playing. So all of the things resonate because of who their opponent is. They know what has to happen. So that's the importance of the game. When they play the game, they understand that winning and losing will have an influence. But if you win the rest of them, you're playing for a national championship. So it's not a make or break game. What it is a game that gets their attention and the way they prepare. And that to me is the most important thing.
Brian Kelly, the LSU football coach. Hey, man, thanks for stopping by. Good luck to see you. We
My
sure
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Good to see you guys
Thanks, Brian.
again.
Good to see you,
Good
man.
to see you, man.
Brian,
good to see you. Thank you.
Brian Kelly, the terrific football coach at LSU, as we work our way through to SEC Media Days. All right, we got a lot to do. How you doing over here, all right? You
Doing
good?
good.
You
Yeah,
good? You
doing
fired
good.
up? All right, we're going to
Ready.
take a break. When we come back, Hayes and Lauren rejoin us. We got a lot more to talk about. We'll continue along. We're at the SEC Media Days, brought to you by All Weather Contractors, and, of course, presented by South State Bank on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
There's new life in Duval. Get on board. This train is about to roll. 1010XL.
If you're from the South, you know all about fried green tomatoes and BLTs, so put some South in your mouth and get to Bono's to try the fried green tomatoes appetizer served with Reggie Ranch and one-of-a-kind Bono's BLT with smoked brisket, lettuce, and fried green tomatoes served with one southern side. Frangie here, and I'm telling you, I love fried green tomatoes, and this sandwich is out of sight. So head to your local Bono's today. The fried green tomatoes appetizer and BLT is a summer sensation. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Whether it's a large commercial project or a multifamily property, trust All Pro Roofing for exceptional craftsmanship and unparalleled customer service. We use only the finest materials, ensuring durability and long-lasting results. Plus, All Pro Roofing now has a full siding and windows division. That's right, All Pro Roofing is not just about roofs anymore. All Pro Roofing, now your trusted partner for commercial roofing, multifamily projects, exterior siding, and windows. AllProRoofingLLC.com.
License number CCC 1327056.
CDC 060138.
For all your plumbing needs, call on the Bold City's best. The water heater's broken, disposal doesn't work. Toilet's overflowing, the wife's going berserk. There's water all around me, the faucet sprung a leak. The only way to fix it is to call on Roland Reach, 'cause I got the blues, yeah. Roland Reach Plumbing. Lose the bad plumbing blues and find your peace with Roland Reach.
Yeah.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
At Andy's Automotive and Truck Services, they know that your company's fleet is more than just a bunch of cars and trucks. It's your livelihood, your reputation, your pride. So when you need routine fleet maintenance or emergency repairs, Andy's offers after-hours and mobile service to minimize your downtime and keep your fleet running like new. While you care for your employees and customers, rest assured Andy's Automotive will take care of your fleet. Visit the team at andysats.com.
Kick off the college football season in Music City with all-weather contractors SEC Media Days, presented by South State Bank and brought to you by the Yas Method for pain-free movement, Window World of Northeast Florida, and Coastal Equipment.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, you talk a lot about a diamond's cut grade. Why is a diamond graded for cut?
Frank, that's simple. We cut grade diamonds to show a measurement of beauty and light return to the person looking at the diamond so they can understand the value difference between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one cut for maximum weight. Now, it gets a little more complicated when you find out that the American Gem Society Laboratory actually assigns performance grades and proportion grades using patented computer software and grades for polish and symmetry using a microscope. The end result of cut grading is a final grade that can go from a 0 or ideal to a 10, which is poor. Each of these grades are priced a little differently. That's why you can see a diamond with a fine color and clarity priced low, particularly on the internet, because a trained gemologist won't buy it for resale because of the poor cut. Unfortunately, these type deals aren't good deals. They're bad deals for the unknowing customer.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Experienced buyers know the name Tiffin. They also know where to buy one, General RV. And during our Tiffin Motorhome Day sales event, these folks know they could save thousands. And so can you. From July 19th through the 23rd, you can get up to 40% off any Class A Tiffin motorhome. Plus, we've got the lowest prices in years. Yes, big motorhome savings are happening now. Only at General RV in Orange Park on Wells Road off 295.
Oh boy, not again.
Do you feel this way every time there's rain in the forecast? Amy Salt, owner of CrossFit Salt to Tear in the Riverside area, definitely did.
I had major rain anxiety from all the water collecting outside my gym. That's why I'm so happy I reached out to Clearwater Drainage. John came out, designed a system that moved the water off of my property, and all my kettlebells are now dry. I'm sleeping so much better at night.
Clearwater Irrigation.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's where football season starts. All-weather contractors SEC Media Days, presented by South State Bank. This segment is brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning, Southern Steer Butcher, and Underwood Jewelers on 1010XL.
And we do appreciate all the sponsors that have made this possible, the ones you just heard about. And, of course, it's the All-Weather Contractors SEC Media Days, presented by South State Bank, Underwoods, our friends from High School 912, and so many other terrific sponsors. We certainly do appreciate them getting us here to Nashville. First time in Nashville for the SEC Media Days ever. These things started in 1985. They've been in Birmingham most of the time. There's been 2 stops in Atlanta, including last year. And this first stop in Nashville, they announced today what we've all kind of known is that next year's is going to be in Dallas. They'll continue to rotate it around. No word about where they're going after that. But we actually heard about Dallas even last year. So we're here. So great to be with you. I want to thank me and Matt did a terrific job from here connecting with Joe back in Leon back in World Headquarters. But now we're all here set up. You can see all our interviews on all our platforms. Mia's done a terrific job setting up cameras and lights and the like here. So we've had a fun time with that as well. Good way to start the Frangie Show. Brian Kelly and Jayden Daniels right out of the gate, huh?
Yeah, how about that? What were some of your takeaways from those?
Well, a couple things. Number one, Jayden Daniels is a neat kid. The thing about, and we'll hear from Matt Moscona a little later on as well, the thing about the new world of college football, you may not like a lot of it. The portal stuff, you never really get to know your players, or I shouldn't say never, but there's times you don't get to know your players as a fan. Players, quite often, the best quarterbacks in the country are at their second school. I mean, that's happened so much now that it's now almost a rite of passage for Heisman Trophy winners. Caleb Williams and Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow, and we could go on and on. Heisman Trophy winners, Kyler Murray, are winning these Heisman trophies at their second school.
Graham Mertz.
That too. But it's almost a rite of passage.
Yeah.
It's almost every time you see. So here comes Jayden Daniels. He wasn't a failed quarterback at Arizona State, but he wasn't a great one either. I know when he got to LSU, there was a little bit of a feeling of, well, they had to get somebody. You know, he may be okay. He wasn't all that good at Arizona State, but and he's become one of the most talked about players in the country. And I thought Hayes and Lauren, what a neat kid he was. Poised, appreciative, talked about the challenges. And again, we'll play that for you later on. Not everybody was listening right when we began the show today. I want you to hear that because you'll hear us talk about it as well. Same with the interview with Brian Kelly. But not everybody, not every player can really appreciate what he's able to appreciate. He realizes this second lease on life has made his career and really made his life. And I was really impressed with Jayden. I don't know if you guys were able to hear because Matt and I did the interview. But what a sharp guy, no question about that.
Yeah, I think he has a presence about him, and he did seem very polite, which you always like to see. But I think overall, look, I mean, he's a guy who I think he thought about going into the draft. But when you see him in person, you think, can that guy play in the NFL?
That's
he is a slim guy.
He's listed at 6'4", 215. That's a thin 215.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the narrowest shoulders that I think you would see. But look, at this level, I saw him play last year in person in the Swamp, and he was masterful. I mean, I want to say LSU scored a touchdown on their first 6 drives, and he was a big part of that. It was mostly through the air.
Yeah.
And his mobility is outstanding. I agree. He was a surprising take. I think if it gives you any hope as a Gators fan, kind of I'd say a different player, but kind of in that same mindset of Mertz in terms of I think how people perceived it of really LSU's taken Daniels and you hope obviously it's worked out great for them. You hope it does the same thing for Florida, but Jayden Daniels very impressive. That was I thought the game where you could kind of tell the LSU media going into that game in Gainesville, they still weren't really sure what Jayden Daniels was. I think that was the game that made them total believers because he was doing that in an absolute snake pit. The environment that night was incredible, tons of noise. It did not matter. Every single time Jayden Daniels got the ball, went down, scored a touchdown, and ultimately LSU won a shootout in Gainesville.
I can also tell you this. And I asked him about this, Brian about it. I'm going to ask Matt Moscone about it as well when he joined Lauren and me. I can tell you that first game. Now it means more to us. I say it means more to us. We're probably going to focus on it more because of all the folks here in Nashville. I think we're the only station from Florida. I think we're the only station from the state of Florida. Did you notice that? I think I'm right about that. Did y'all go up and down?
I haven't seen another
I think there's 40, 45 stations here. I think we're the only one from the state of Florida. I'm pretty sure we are. So we're going to ask more about that Florida State LSU game because we've watched Jordan Travis and we watched the Noles, and they're one of the teams we follow. But that is a gigantic, gigantic game. And I'm even more excited about the Jayden Daniels versus Jordan Travis after talking today. I mean, I really am.
Yeah, we're about a month-ish away from some serious quarterback fireworks. That's what's going to happen in that game. Jordan Travis, everyone listening knows how good he is. If you didn't pay attention to Jayden Daniels last year, well, start paying attention because he's, I think, going to be in the Heisman contention.
Yeah, I do too. I do. The winner of that game, the quarterback who wins that game, provided it's not 13-7
and it won't
and
be.
You win by defense. Yeah, but assuming it's an offensive game, the quarterback who wins that game, I won't say has a leg up to win the Heisman because there's Caleb Williams still out there, but certainly thrust himself into the race without question.
Absolutely, and Jayden Daniels, I think, is absolutely got a chance because of the spotlight that he's going to have. Playing at LSU, has the huge game out of the gate against the Seminoles. That's a statement opportunity, and then you're just playing in that brutal West. I mean, week in and week out, you're going to get major opportunities to show the country what you can do. I didn't realize Jayden Daniels statistically last year put up the second best season in LSU's history, obviously behind Joe Burrow's NCAA record monstrosity Heisman season, national championship season. So Brian Kelly deserves a lot of credit for how quickly he developed Jayden Daniels, where they are now, and again, it's going to be really interesting. A lot LSU. I'm surprised. It seems like from being here, LSU has more momentum to repeat as West champion from the media here than I would have thought. I'm going to vote Alabama, but it seems like maybe LSU is going to be the preseason choice to win the West.
And you transition nicely to Brian Kelly. It can't be forgotten or overstated that the guy was made fun of the whole offseason. From the Southern accent to the dancing to everybody, including us, laughed and joked about what a bad fit it would be. Everybody. And that wasn't just us. It was the people all over laughed and joked about what a horrible fit it would be to have Brian Kelly at LSU, and he didn't bat an eye, did he? That guy, he went in there. I mean, if you think about that, the season started with a loss to Florida State because they missed an extra point. They had an extra point block. Now, they might not have won in overtime. Then the next thing you know, they win some games, not comfortably, but I mean, they found a way to beat Auburn on the road. Got blasted by Tennessee. I mean, blasted by Tennessee, 40-13 in a game that I'm not sure was that close.
Well, and to only score 13 points on that volunteer defense was a big disappointment.
That's right.
And they were sort of at a crossroads at that point.
That's right. And that game was in Baton Rouge. And if you heard our interview with Jayden Daniels, he said, look, we had a players-only meeting. It was kind of our turning point. Brian Kelly brought it up as a turning point without us even asking him that question. From that point forward, the 45-35 win over Florida, Hayes, you referenced that. They hung a pretty good Ole Miss team that was ranked 7th at the time. LSU was unranked at the time. Unranked. They beat Ole Miss 45-20, and then the big one. Then the big one at home. They, in overtime, beat Alabama 32-31. The turning point might have been the loss to Tennessee, Lauren, but the signature win for Brian Kelly as the LSU coach, he found a way to beat number 6 Alabama in Baton Rouge.
And who knows what would have happened if Jayden Daniels doesn't get hurt against Georgia in the SEC championship game. I think I'm not saying Georgia was going to lose, but it would have been much more interesting, certainly, without that injury. Brian Kelly's done a phenomenal job, and that's why I think Jayden Daniels a season ago was overlooked, because we were all focused on making fun of the head coach.
Yeah.
And here is this quarterback who came in and certainly after the first game lit it up.
Yeah, I never thought he'd be that, though. I thought he'd be okay. He's a really good player. Again, the matchup is so cool between them and Florida State because of that. Because it's the same story. Second school for both guys, veteran guys that were always good athletes and good runners, but people wondered could they be good passers and good quarterbacks. Both have answered that, and both could be quarterbacks in the NFL now. They've earned that. Both, Jayden Daniels and Jordan Travis. That's what makes that game such a fun matchup. I'll say this too, and Matt Hayes, to his credit, he joined me for the interviews with both Brian Kelly and Jayden. Matt Hayes, and again, Matt, we're so lucky to have Matt on the radio station because Matt is so connected in the world of college football. He's been one of the preeminent college football writers in the country for decades. He really has. But because of that, he knows Brian Kelly really well. He knows a lot of these coaches well. But because of that, he had a little different prism. And his prism all along was, listen, you can make fun of Brian Kelly and the accent and the fit all you want, but he's a really good coach. Organized, attentive to detail, hires a good staff, knows how to get the players, knows how to get players' attention. He's really good. And when Matt was saying it, we were all going, Matt, listen, I don't know, but have you heard the accent? Did you see the right? I doubted him. Matt Hayes was on that from the get-go that he's going to be really good at LSU.
Absolutely, and they're still not there yet. Brian Kelly even mentioned that at the podium session. He was asked about closing the gap against Georgia, and he frankly said, look, we're not there yet from a roster standpoint. And again, they got the chance to compete against Georgia for the SEC championship, and so you would think there'd be a little bit maybe more excitement. But again, it speaks to what Kirby Smart has built, that Brian Kelly was pretty open, and that while LSU certainly has talent and will be favored in many of the games they are going to play this year, he still does not feel like the roster has gotten to the point where they are on par with Georgia.
It's kind of an interesting season last year. They went, after losing that Tennessee game, they win 5 games in a row, which includes going to Gainesville and walloping them walloping the Gators 45-35. It includes the win over Alabama. Then in a bizarre thing, they lose to a really bad Texas A&M team that was 2-6 in the league. I mean, the only reason Texas A&M wasn't 1-7 in the league is they beat LSU to end the season, and they beat them by double digits. Then they go to play Georgia and lose by 20, 50-30. Georgia hangs 50 on them. So then, okay, not such a good inning. But then they played a Purdue team, and they beat them 63-7. It was a weird season's end for LSU, both good and bad.
It certainly was, and I think that, to Hayes' point about the roster, that's what's going to happen. You don't have the roster that you should have because I don't know that Eddie O was all that good at recruiting after the national championship, and even though that's his strong suit, I don't think he did that well in that department after he won. And so I think Brian Kelly's going to need a year or two to get LSU exactly where he wants them, but to start the way that they did, to make it to the SEC championship and beat Alabama, that's a pretty good start.
All right, so it certainly is. So here, let me tell you the way this works. As you know, or probably know, all 14 teams make their way here. 3 on the first day, 4, and then 3 on the last day. There's prominent teams every day, and we tend to focus on the teams of prominence. We will focus on Georgia tomorrow in addition to other teams here. We will focus on Florida on Wednesday in addition to other teams. Alabama, I think, Thursday, or is Alabama Thursday? I'm not sure. So, but we'll focus on the teams of significance as we continue to move along here. But today's LSU day. That's the most significant team here. A&M's here, but look, A&M was 2-6 in the league last year. And Jimbo doesn't really want to do a lot of stuff. That's just kind of how he is. You'll hear some of his comments.
He was ornery.
He was ornery. You just saw him.
Now, one of the questions, he deserves to be ornery. He was asked directly about a commitment who has not signed a letter of intent. Well, obviously, he can't comment specifically about that player. So that is understandable. But you wonder, is this the last time we'll see him as an Aggie at SEC Media Days?
And we'll talk more about that coming up. But it's LSU Day, which means LSU Hour for us. You just heard from both Jayden Daniels and Brian Kelly again. You're going to hear those again because they were right at the top of our program. That's when those two were available. You're going to hear from Eli Drinkwitz as well, the Missouri coach. He joined Matt and me toward the end of prime time.
Did you see his shoes, by the way?
Sweet shoes. Yes, he did.
Very cool shoes. Alabama's
did he bring his
Wednesday.
lightsaber?
Yeah, that I don't know. But when we come back, I want you to hear from Matt Moscona. Lauren and I caught up with Matt. He's a good friend of ours. He works in the Louisiana media. He is like the preeminent radio guy there, really talented radio host. Covers LSU, covers the Saints. He's on ESPN Baton Rouge, but it's all over the state. If you have a radio in the state of Louisiana, it is syndicated on almost every radio station of significance. in that state. Matt will rejoin Lauren and me when we come back. We'll talk about LSU. There's a little controversy brewing, by the way, between you and Matt Moscona.
I'm
just saying. Listen, I don't want to be someone that breaks up a fight, but there was controversy from a few years ago that you'll hear about that and more. And we'll also talk some LSU football. It's LSU Day. Matt Moscona from ESPN Baton Rouge joins us after this. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Hey, folks, summer's here. It's hot out there. But be ready for anything on the road or off-road with Nimnick Buick GMC. Popular GMC and Buick models are arriving daily at Nimnick. And you know this, no one's ever going to pay over MSRP at Nimnick Buick GMC. So you can stop by that terrific showroom. It's right there on Phillips Highway, just south of I-295, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com. It's hot out there. You want to be able to take on anything, the road, off the road. Well, now's the time to head to Nimnick Buick GMC. You're going to love the way you're treated there. You're going to love that beautiful dealership, and you're going to love the selection of cars. You can't imagine how many Buicks and GMCs there are to choose from. So head to Nimnick today. Nimnick Buick GMC, Jacksonville's #1 Buick GMC dealer. In Jacksonville, GMC, we are professional grade.
Rubbins Racing.
Here we go. He's going to move him. He's going to move him. He's going to move him.
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway. Brought to you by Famous Automotive Tire and Quick Lube. Servicing every customer like they're famous. On your NASCAR station, 1010XL.
It's back! The Big One sales event is here, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Mia here in Arlington has over 400 new Toyotas available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and family vans. And that means now's the time to go big and go home in style. Plus, with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty and their 30-day exchange program. But don't wait. The Big One sales event won't last long, so shop today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Active and pain-free. That's the ticket. Dr. George Barry here, and I know that's the goal of every patient I see. They want the best possible care so they can go back to enjoying life. That could be pick up basketball, golf, tennis, running, or just working out. It all requires you to be as healthy as you can be. If joint pain is taking its toll on your active lifestyle, come see me at Barry Orthopedics. We have locations all over Jacksonville and can diagnose and treat even the most severe joint pain. A homegrown Jacksonville practice. Find out more at barryorthopedics.com.
When you choose J-Dog Junk Removal, you're not just hiring a junk removal service. You're investing in a company that believes in making a lasting impact on the lives of our veterans and our community. J-Dog is dedicated to giving back to our local veteran organizations. They have donated over $50,000 in materials and services, ensuring that these valuable organizations have the resources they need to support our veterans. J-Dog Junk Removal, veteran-owned, veteran-operated.
Warmer weather is here, and with it, longer days mean more time for golf. Hidden Hills offers twilight rates every day after 3 p.m. Affordable golf on a fantastic golf course. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com and book your tee time today.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Hey, Matt Hayes here. Expert Automotive is now open at our brand new state-of-the-art facility on St. John's Bluff Road. As always, every repair comes with a lifetime service repair warranty. Come celebrate our grand reopening by getting a free AC inspection, $50 off any repair, $199 brake specials, and free diagnostics all month long. Call 374-3373 or visit us at our new location at 2190 St. John's Bluff Road. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
E.T. here, Brackish Vodka, Jacksonville produced and distilled.
A gluten-free corn-based vodka is the smoothest vodka you've ever had. Because it's mineral salt filtered after being distilled 5 times, you get the smoothest vodka on the market. And it's made right here in Jacksonville. When you drink gluten-free brackish vodka, you are supporting a local business and not a business based in Texas. Taste why 9 out of 10 people pick brackish vodka in a blind taste test. Drink like a local. Drink brackish vodka.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
In your free time, the last thing you want to do is clean your house.
Right.
First Coast Home Pros offers luxurious maid services you can trust. Weekly, bi-weekly, or even one-time deep house cleaning. FirstCoastHomePros.com. FirstCoastHomePros.com.
Are you a meat lover searching for quality cuts? Southern Steer Butcher uses a vacuum tumbler to marinate and tenderize our chicken and world-famous steak tips.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8-Sparky.
Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Ackerman Urology is now servicing the Beaches community. If you have elevated PSA, prostate, bladder, or kidney issues, plan to see the experts at Ackerman Urology right away at the new location on Atlantic and Hodges Boulevard.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars.
coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
You will love your new custom windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen. For a limited time, get $289 off every window and $589 off all patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Enjoy the beauty and quality that only Renewal by Andersen offers. This offer expires July 31st and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Hun, the drain really smells.
Yeah, wow, it does.
I think it's getting backed up. What should we do? Did you just quack like a duck?
Yes, I did. Duck Rooter, your plumbing pros in Northeast Florida. Need help with a plumbing issue at your home or business? Just call the Duck.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Divorce, menonly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to divorcemenonly.com. Divorcemenonly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Did you know High School 912 offers a leadership academy, financial literacy, and social media seminars? Help students unlock their potential, master their finances, and explore their social media abilities. Resources like these would not be possible without the support of generous donors like you. Visit jackshighschool912.com/give to donate or email jackshighschool912@gmail.com for more information. Support the mission of High School 912 today.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows and $2.95.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars on their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by General RV Center. The Jaguars and tight end Evan Ingram came to a 3-year, $41.25 million contract extension. ESPN's Mike DiRocco, a guest of Jaguars Today. What does he think about it?
Good deal for both sides. Mainly, obviously, Ingram now locked himself up, $24 million guaranteed. And a good deal for the Jags, too, because, it's only going to cost them, I think it's a little over $5 million, just like Demetrius said, for the cap hit this year, which opens up some space, and they get a guy, locked in.
Mike DiRocco from ESPN on the contract extension for Jaguars tight end Evan Ingram. It's 90 degrees at 4:03. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Kicking off another college football season. All-weather contractors SEC Media Days. Presented by South State Bank. This segment is brought to you by Spickle-Meyer Insurance, High School 912, and Ackerman Urology on 1010XL.
We sure appreciate all our sponsors. Our friend John Spicklemeyer, really good friend of yours for
Absolutely.
many years.
Great guy.
Sponsoring this.
He saved me hundreds of dollars, I can tell you that.
He does a terrific job with that insurance agency. And my friend Alan Verlander, the folks at High School 912. High School 912 is a really cool thing. What they do for people that don't know, and I probably don't talk about it enough, High School 912 has, among other things, it's helping young people get to college that might not have otherwise. They have SAT and ACT boot camps. These 6-week boot camps that teach kids how to do better on the SAT and the ACT, which turns into bright futures and scholarship money. And often kids could not go to college unless they did that, and it changes their life. It's a self-esteem thing that matters so much to these kids, and I'm proud of Alan for putting it together and the people at High School 912. But they need funding. So go online. It's JAX, J-A-X, JAX High School 912, 912.com, and find out all about it. You can go to the info at JAXHighSchool912.com and find out about it. But if we talk about, I'm proud of Walk Off, and I'm proud of so many of the charities in town, but this is one that said that teaches financial literacy. It teaches so many things to young people that they might not have known otherwise. But of all the great things they do, those high school, those ACT and SAT boot camps, that help you do well enough on those tests to garner some scholarship money and free money that makes it possible for some of these kids to go to college that otherwise would have had no chance to go to college. It's a really good thing. And they're one of our sponsors on this trip, and I'm proud to have them there. High School 912, once again, it's JAX, J-A-X, JAXHighSchool912.com. And boy, they do a terrific job with it. They really do. All right, back to some SEC in a bit. Eli Drinkwitz, you're going to hear his comments coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Also, I want you to rehear the interviews with both Brian Kelly and Jayden Daniels, the terrific coach and quarterback at LSU. Our friend Jimmy Heim stops by. It's not a trip to the SEC without Jimmy. He comes by at 5 o'clock today. So we got a lot to talk about, and we'll kind of wrap in and kind of preview tomorrow. Kirby Smart will join us tomorrow, among other coaches, so we'll get to cover that. But let's get to some non-SEC stuff for a little bit. We haven't had a chance to weigh in on the Evan Ingram. I'm not surprised. I'm not going to tell you I thought it was going to happen. I'd be lying. I didn't know. But I knew if it did happen, it wouldn't surprise me that it happened. Your take on you're the salary cap guy here. Is it a good deal for both? Is it a good deal for one or the other? I think we're all agree that it's good that he's going to be here.
It's a great deal for both. Evan Ingram gets a lot of guaranteed money up front today. So he is a very happy man this afternoon with a pretty sweet direct deposit coming his way.
About 25 mil?
Yeah. And
that's a good direct deposit.
Yeah, it is.
Direct deposit, yeah.
And so I think it's great for the player. Better for Evan Ingram than for the Jaguars, but it's still great for the Jaguars. I mean, this is a total win-win. The Jaguars now do not have to worry about having 3 key players on their final year. You had Ridley, Josh Allen, Ingram. Now you just have Ridley and Josh Allen. If you could get one deal done, if they both have big-time years, you would have the tag available for the other. And again, the other thing that I think is interesting is the Jaguars are going to make a big move. It's just, are they going to make it before training camp? Are they going to make it during training camp? Are they going to make it near the trade deadline? And by clearing out some money here, because Evan Ingram's cap number for this season is going to be greatly reduced, they can now go after a bigger edge rusher if they choose to, or they can wait it out and get closer to the trade deadline and see, what are the Rams at that point, who have some talent? What are the Bucs at that point who might have some talent that they're looking to unload? To have that money is a good option for the Jaguars to add to this roster between now and the deadline. And if they don't, if everything's good, they don't get hit really hard with attrition, you always can roll over that money, and it just, gives you $20 million extra on next year's cap. So fantastic for the Jaguars. I think the biggest thing is fantastic culturally for the Jaguars because Evan Ingram is such a well-liked, respected player, and now to have him back, to have him happy, not having to play on the tag, it's going to take what's already a very harmonious locker room and elevate it.
And we always talk about, too, Evan Ingram was going to be here for this season. But Evan Ingram and Trevor Lawrence have great chemistry. You wanted Evan Ingram to play this season knowing he's going to be a Jaguar for the next at least 3 seasons. And I think financially, yes, Hayes, to your point, it makes sense to add that cap room because there needs to be another defensive player added to this roster. We've said that now for 9 months. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, the last thing you said, Hayes, and something you started with, Lauren, is I think as significant as any of this. Yes, he's a good player. It's good numbers for both. Tight ends are all the rage in the NFL today, and he's a very good one. But I think that cultural part matters. I don't know if you're going to get to that part or not, but I think that part matters, man. Again, if you have heard our radio shows, all of them, if you've heard other people in the other media, if you've heard the team talk, if you're now tired of the word culture and tired of us framing it up and making sure you understand how important that is, I understand because we talk about it a lot. But it is so important. The culture, the workplace culture in a football team particularly, because it's hard, man. You're getting knocked in the head and sweating, and I mean, it's a hard sport. It's a hard life. It's a great life. It pays well, but it's hard. And having culture and support and it really did serve that team well, and to suggest it didn't matter is wrong. And, boy, Evan fits right in there. He loved it here. He loves the quarterback. He loves the other receivers. He's a hard worker. First guy out. You've seen him in those games. You get there early enough. He's the guy out there with his tennis balls and his funky drills.
He does like a full workout before the game.
Yeah,
I mean, even
way before.
Even like the equipment and strength and conditioning guys are like, we've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
But it's his routine, and he's just a great worker.
Yeah, I mean,
and he bet on himself, so he deserves this too.
Yeah, and here's my guess. My guess is he all along was going. He's very close to his agent. He's very respectful of his agent, Mike McCartney, who's a very well-respected agent. He trusted Mike. I think all along, I think they were going to sign. I don't think he was. I don't think they were. In retrospect, I can't say I knew it beforehand, or I'd have said it beforehand. I didn't. But in retrospect, after seeing the way it played out, I think all along they were probably going to agree to a deal. But take it as long as you can to make the deal as good as you can. That's good business. I get that. But I always figured, again, I shouldn't say that. I kind of had a little bit of a hunch that they wouldn't be playing on the tag. Did you think that, or did you think he was going to play on the tag?
No, I mean, I thought because it looked like they had such momentum early in the process after he was tagged, and then it didn't happen for a while. And then Evan made his comments publicly a couple months ago, and it still didn't happen. And now you're right up on the deadline. Yeah, I mean, I was certainly getting to the point of, wow, maybe this isn't going to happen. You know, you just never know. You don't know, how much control the agent has in it in terms of, trying to protect his brand. And look, I have to have you signing at a certain level, or it's going to affect my ability to recruit my next tight end client. Things like that. These things get convoluted, and again, by the time they had tagged him, they had drafted Brenton Strange in the second round. They can still use his reduction in salary cap to help them between here and the deadline, but really that would have been way more beneficial to have that money, back when the new league year began in March. So, yeah, I mean, look, there was a part of me that I absolutely thought, well, maybe they're not going to get it done. And, I agree. I think they took it all the way to the deadline, hoping maybe the Jaguars, up something. And who knows? Maybe they did. We'll find out when we talk to Evan, and we'll find out when we talk to Doug and Trent. But the good news is it got done, and it's not going to be a distraction. You're not going to have a player playing on the tag. You're not going to have to worry about when does Ingram sign the tag. Does he elect to sit out most of training camp, if not all of it, before signing and reporting? You don't have to worry about that. He's a happy Jaguar. The Jaguars are happy to have him, and the offense now is complete. It's not missing anything in terms of its skill players of consequence, because I don't think Marvin Jones, I think he's a decent player, but I don't think he's, something you can't live without. And so you look at that group around Trevor Lawrence, and, I mean, it is sensational. They have 2,500 yards of receiving yards returning, and you're adding Calvin Ridley and a second-round tight end in Brenton Strange. A lot to be excited about.
Yeah, the collective bargaining agreement, that part of it is unusual. If you are a free agent, the team can franchise you, meaning you have to play for that tender number if you want to play in the NFL at all. You have no choice if you choose to play. But you do have the choice to not play and not get fined. You're just a free agent that can't play for anybody else. But if you make that choice, if you don't sign it, you can't play for anybody else. You can only play for that team at that price. But because you haven't signed it, you can't be fined for missing training camp. It's almost like an odd rule, you know, in that if you're a free agent and I can sign you to a tender, by rule you have to play for me. You would think I could fine you, but I can't because there's still the possibility out there that you're just going to retire and not play. It's an interesting rule the way it's structured.
It is, and also, why do we have to have a deadline? Obviously, the deadline is passed now, 4 p.m. today, but why do we have to have a deadline for when players can sign their long-term deals?
Storylines.
Right? I guess so, but can't we just do that year-round in theory? That would be better for the players.
Hey, a couple other things. So the deadline did pass. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, 3 prominent running backs, did not sign their franchise tenders. What are your expectations there? Do they ultimately all play for the tag? Do they not go to camp and then play for the tag? What's your guess? Or play under the tag?
They'll play under the tag. I can't imagine any of them are going to miss game checks. I just think, it's ironic because Le'Veon Bell even, today or yesterday came out and said that he apologized to Steelers fans for the way it ended there and not playing the second year he was tagged, electing to sit out the season. And I just think these running backs have such a cautionary tale to not miss game checks that I know Saquon Barkley threatened it, or his camp threatened it, that he might sit out games this season. I just don't see how you can possibly justify that. It doesn't do you any good. All you're doing is costing yourself about, probably $800,000 to do that each week you elect to sit out. So no, I think they all 3 play under the tag. But I will say this: it may be a long time before you see another running back get a lucrative second contract with his team. And I mean, even if, let's just leave it with the Jaguars, even if Travis Etienne were to gain 1,500 yards of total offense this year, he gained 1,400 last year, 1,600 yards of total offense the year after that. Boy, in this day and age, it's still hard. It's still hard to see the Jaguars rewarding him for that with a 5-year, $55 million deal. I just think in this day and age, the way the passing game has evolved, I just think these teams are going to let those guys walk, and they're just going to go draft their next guy and maintain that kind of is an inexpensive position. It's the only position that the franchise tag number keeps going down year after year. It's remarkable. Every other position has gone up. The running back position, because that's an average. You're taking the average of the top salaries. Well, because these guys aren't getting paid anymore, the franchise tag number is decreasing and will continue to do so.
Yeah, in most positions, you get the 5th year, and then you get often a second contract when you're a good player. In running back, you got to be a great player. That's the difference. That's it really.
And even the great players aren't going to get the big deals. That's the reality of the situation.
But that's exactly right.
Because Saquon Barkley, there's not a team I feel like in the NFL that needs their running back more than the Giants need Saquon Barkley, and he's not going to get the long-term deal.
That's right. But to your point, as far as even getting the second contract, you have to be a great player. The next Derrick Henry will get a second contract. Travis Etienne might get one. But good solid football players at that position, good solid left guards are going to get the second contract. Good solid outside linebackers. Good solid running backs or not, you got to be a great running back. That's the bottom line.
And if you're a first-round running back like Bijan Robinson, like Etienne, and they've got that 5th year, it's going to be even more difficult because now you're talking about a new team has to pay you in year 6, 7, and 8. And that's just prime breakdown territory. It's just, unfortunately, it's just the nature of that position. So if you're a young kid listening to this and you're a talented football player, do not play running back.
That's exactly right. Let's take a break. When we come back to SEC football, Eli Drinkwitz is the Missouri football coach. Fun guy, down-to-earth guy, kind of funny. He joined Matt Hayes and me. We'll talk a little Missouri football here from the SEC Media Days, so stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Now at Hodges Mazda, for those who never stop refining, lease a new 2023 Mazda 3 sedan during the Season of Discovery sales event for only $329 a month. Lauren Brooks here. The Mazda 3 enables you to enjoy a new form of indulgence. Plus, all vehicle purchases come with 2 years free maintenance. The sales staff works on salary, not commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interests first. That's the Hodges Mazda difference. Visit Hodges Mazda online today at hodgesmazda.com. See dealer for details. $3,499 due at lease. Signing terms and fees for qualified lessees. 36-month lease expires July 31st, 2023.
It's more than running down stats and catching scores.
We have a brotherhood in here that we worked all year with that we don't want to let down.
Go inside the locker room with Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Working in the trades industry, going nowhere, sick of dealing with grueling residential install projects and demanding seasonal schedules? Become part of something better. All Weather Contractors wants you to join our multifamily and commercial construction property maintenance team now. Based in Jacksonville, we offer premium pay, bonuses, full benefits, 401k programs, employee stock ownership opportunities, and a culture focused on career advancements and opportunities. Build a better career in the commercial property maintenance industry. Apply online today at allweathercontractors.com.
Higgin here. Guess what July is? National Carpet Cleaning Month. For home carpet cleaning, Zero Res offering $49 per room. And for businesses, they're offering 20% off in July. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Tired of overpaying for tires? Cruise into Tire Outlet for the best selection, best quality, and best prices on the tires you need to keep you and your family safe on the road. With over 40 years of experience and 15 locations across Florida, Tire Outlet is the brand you can trust to perform great service at a great price. Our technicians are ready to do the maintenance and repairs to your vehicle performing its best. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Tire Outlet.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, it's Prosser here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? Does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound about right now? Well, Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loans, consolidate all your payments into one check per month, and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
I'm Hacker. Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gator Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
Whether you are looking for a job or an employer trying to hire, there's only one stop in Jacksonville, Remedy Staffing. Labor trends keep us guessing. As employers, the job market's been strong. So what does that mean for workers' availability? If you're interested in the workforce solutions or how the Remedy team can help you, call or text Crystal at 904-329-9802. 329-9802, Remedy Staffing.
You dream it, we build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Gather the family when it's time to retire. Enjoy the warmth of a cozy fire. Now we're cooking in the great outdoors. That's what outdoor kitchens are for. You dream it, we build it. CSS.
Hi, Flying Jacko here, sports fans. Boy, is it hot. It's hot for the girls, too. And when I'm feeling the heat, I head for Woody's and pick up a good old-fashioned family feast.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do. Let's eat.
Clearwater. John, I can't even mow my side yard. It's so soggy. Man, my builder sucks.
Brent, calm down. This is a common problem in neighborhoods where houses are built too close together. You need gutters and a properly installed French drain that will soak up subsurface water. We can completely dry it up.
So I can take my builder off my speed dial now, huh?
Yeah, we got you, buddy. Let that builder bitterness go.
Clearwater irrigation and drainage too.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Cold Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bold City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate, full of choices and all of them good.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. The college football season has officially started. All-weather contractors SEC Media Days, presented by South State Bank. This segment is brought to you by the Yas Method for pain-free movement, Coastal Equipment, and Window World of Northeast Florida on 1010XL.
We certainly appreciate all the sponsors making this happen, and you hear about them, who they are throughout the course of the day today. We're live in Nashville at the SEC Media Days. Of course, it's a Monday. That means all our Mondays are brought to you by The Best Bet, the best place to hang out and have a big time. The Best Bet with 3 locations on the First Coast. That brand new one is at St. Augustine. They're in Orange Park, right there on 17, and of course, off Monument Road, the Jacksonville location of The Best Bet. Now, we'll talk to as many coaches as we can get to come by our table here. Today, 3 coaches were here: Jimbo Fisher, Eli Drinkwitz from Missouri, and of course Brian Kelly from LSU. You'll hear from 2 of the 3, including Eli Drinkwitz. Interesting story. He former Appalachian State coach. You know all about Drink. What'd you call him, Drink, when he was there?
Yeah, Drink was the man. He led us to one of our best seasons ever, beat North Carolina and South Carolina. Many would argue Scott Satterfield built that team, and he kind of piloted it the next year. But, yeah, great season.
Yeah, so Eli Drinkwitz, the one-time Appalachian State coach. He is now the head coach of Missouri. And Matt Hayes and I caught up with Eli a little earlier today. Welcome back now to SEC Media Days. Frank Frangie. 11 games, won the East both of those years. So 2 of the 3 years, they were pretty good. Now, it was a bad East, but they still won 2 of 3. That was under Gary Pinkel. Since then, though, boy, it's been a real challenge. Gary's team started struggling. Barry Odom was there 4 years, never moved the needle very much. Eli Drinkwitz now is in his 4th year. They have been, ever since that stretch, Hayes, where they were 12-2 in 13 and 11-3 in 14, 5-7, 4-8, 7-6, 8-5. 8-5 is not bad. 6-6, 5-5, 6-7, 6-7. So they're never 2-10, but they've got an awful lot of those 5-8s and 6-7s and 7-6s.
And that's what they'll be in this conference. I commend them for how well they acclimated to the conference. I guarantee you Oklahoma and Texas aren't going to have those records over the first 3 years. So if you're a Missouri fan, that's something you're always going to be able to have over the Longhorns and the Sooners. After that, though, I think it's going to be really difficult. And it's going to be difficult for this Missouri team. I mean, their schedule isn't a cakewalk. But once they get to November, oh, my goodness. At Georgia, November 4th.
That one hard?
That one's hard. That's probably a good 31.5-point spread right there. The following week, they host Tennessee.
Ooh.
Then they host the Gators. We'll see the challenge there. But certainly, you know, that's
right.
For Missouri, that's not going to be a gimme putt. And then they cap it off by going to Arkansas. So their November could be 0-4. I think it would be stunning if it was anything above 1-3. And so, I think for Missouri, any year that they're able to get to 6 wins and get bowl eligible, I think it's a good year for them. I don't think we'll ever see, barring something just remarkably surprising, I don't think we'll ever see Missouri be able to consistently contend for even the upper echelon of SEC teams.
Haven't had a winning season since 18 when they were 8-5 under Barry Odom. So it's been a while. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jimbo Fisher did not come and meet with the Radio Row boys. We are among those.
That's just shocking.
But he was at the podium.
Who wouldn't want to be asked, are you going to be fired in week 6 or week 11?
But he was at the podium, and they all are. We want you to hear from everybody. So Texas A&M Jimbo Fisher, we'll hear a couple of his comments. That's next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. It's time to take control. Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take back your quality of life today with QC Kinetics. Call them today at 904-274-5522 to set up an appointment at their Mandarin or Ponte Vedra locations. Take control with QC Kinetics. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime, no more pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. QC Kinetics takes your own body's healing agents and concentrates them in the area where you have pain. You can repair and restore damaged tissue naturally through regenerative medicine. The summer is here. You need to be out there having fun, making memories, golfing, walks on the beach, enjoying your life. Take control now and start living pain-free. No surgery, no downtime. QC Kinetics has locations in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Call them today at 904-274-5522. That's 274-5522. Take control with QC Kinetics.
You ever have that feeling 1010XL? Where you're not sure if you're awake or still dreaming?
All the time.
1010XL. I thought it wasn't real. Your mind makes it real.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to one commercial today, listen to this one.
Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are doing it again, recognizing the local heroes in our community with a brand new car. That's right, we'll be giving away a brand new car, cash, and free oil changes for life to our local heroes. Nominate a law enforcement officer, firefighter, EMT, nurse, teacher, veteran, or your local WOW hero. Head to localwowheroes.com to nominate and vote today. Let's wow our heroes.
Did you know that all graduates of Local 234's apprenticeship program are licensed journeymen? That means all plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs will have hundreds of hours of experience and have passed the Jacksonville City Licensed Journeyman exam. They're the best trained and safest skilled tradespeople in the industry. Don't leave yourself exposed to inadequate workmanship or even danger. Always hire a licensed journeyman. Local 234. Make the right connection. Equal opportunity employer.
Big Chief Tire is committed to giving back to the community we proudly call home. Frank Frangie here. This year, Big Chief Tire is partnering with V for Victory, a local nonprofit dedicated to supporting families impacted by cancer. Stop by any Big Chief Tire location through July to participate in our school supplies drive for local cancer patients. Bring a donation and receive 10% off your service of up to $50 for a full school supply list. Visit BigChiefTire.com. Help us keep Jacks rolling.
Hey, poker fans! Christmas in July is back at Best Bet this month. From July 12th through July 23rd, we're paying out over $260,000 in cash, with high hands increasing daily up to $2,300 every hour. Plus, chances to win a 7-day cruise valued at over $3,000. Don't miss all the excitement of Christmas in July. Visit BestBetJacks.com for more details. That's BestBetJacks.com.
Want great drinks at a great location without paying outrageous prices? Players Grill has you covered. Monday through Friday, happy hour from 3 to 5 p.m. $15 bottomless mimosas on the weekend. Players Grill Miramar, where the neighborhood meets.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 17, 1902, the Orioles forfeit to St. Louis, having only 5 players available to play. They then forfeit their franchise back to the AL.
Hurricane season is officially underway, and now's the perfect time to make sure your home is protected from those storms by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roofing project, plus flexible financing. This offer expires July 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CGC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Do you have a lift station at your business? Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services would love to be your maintenance provider. Give us a call for a quote today. 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Bringing the players and coaches of the SEC to you. All-weather contractors SEC Media Days. Presented by South State Bank. This segment is brought to you by Southern Steer Butcher, Underwood Jewelers, and Bueller Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
We are live here in Nashville, but remember, Christmas in July is in full swing at Best Bet Jacksonville. High hands continue to increase daily up to $2,300 on July 23rd, so certainly get to Best Bet Jacksonville for Christmas in July. All right, well, we got to talk to Brian Kelly and Eli Drinkwitz, but one guy who did not make his way through Radio Row, Frank, would be Jimbo Fisher, who I would say is most likely on the hottest of seats as far as anyone here at Media Days.
I agree. We talked about that last week. You're right, Lauren. I think so, too. Jimbo's the only of the 3 coaches who didn't come down to Radio Row, and but he did make his way to the podium, talked about a number of things. In fact, he's pretty excited about this year's team.
Very excited about this season. As we know, everybody's got 1,000 questions on everything that goes on, but we as coaches, we focus on the process of getting our team ready to play and how we got to play. Very excited about it. And people say, well, what makes you excited? Every coach says they're excited every year. We are, but the things that got me the most excited, I think, one is our leadership. I think you'll see that today in some of the guys in which you speak with. And I say every team has leadership, but to me, leadership is how it affects the other guys on the football team. How your leadership can they translate their personalities, their work ethic, their culture of how they want things done to the other players. And, and the players have to accept that. And I think our leadership of our football team has me very excited in how they've put their stamp on our team, what they see in our team, how they want our team to go, which we had many, many meetings on and reiterated. And like I say, we manage the team. They do the day-to-day functions of how to get things done and the relationships, and I'm very proud of that group. I'm excited to see how we translate into fall practice.
The injury bug has gotten A&M from time to time, but Jimbo thinks the team's a little deeper this year.
I think last year with some trials and tribulations we had with some injuries and key guys that got out and came back and got back out, I think is benefited with playing a lot of young players. Now you're bringing a lot of those guys back with experience, and I think our two deep probably has as much experience as we've had since we've been here. Feel very confident in that group, and I say some of your problems a year ago can be your strengths this year, but again, those have to translate onto the field and the things that go on. But like that dynamic of where we're at.
And finally, look, they were 5-7 a year ago, 2-6 in the league. It was a bad year. And does that make this team angry and ready? Jimbo thinks it does.
And I think there's a team with a chip on its shoulder. I think it's a team that has something to prove, and we know that. There's nothing to hide about that, how we got to play, but you can't become outcome-oriented in that. We have to create the habits on a day-to-day basis, and they have to understand the strength is in their unity, but also that their individual responsibility to create a habit for them to be counted upon in the situations in which they're counted upon and allow us to execute in the most critical moments of every game. And in this league, no matter whether you won 11 games or you won 5 games like we did, there's such a fine line in those games of games you won and games you lost.
Now here's the reality. There may be a fine line, but Jimbo's never had a 10-win season at Texas A&M, and this will be his 6th year. He's been there 5 years. He's never had a 10-win season. Now, in fairness, in the COVID year when they only played 10, they were 9-1, 8-1 in the league. That would have been a 10-win season, obviously, with a real year. But the bottom line is he's never had a 10-win season. His seasons, after taking over Kevin Sumlin, 9-4, 8-5, 9-1 during the COVID year, 8-4, 5-7. For the money he's being paid, that's failure. I don't think you can look at it any other way.
Texas A&M thought they were buying a national championship, multiple national championships, when they hired Jimbo Fisher. That's what he had won at Florida State. And he hasn't even put them remotely close to one. And I don't think he's going to. I mean, I think this is his last year. I don't know about at SEC Media Days. We might see Jimbo Fisher at a future SEC Media Days. But I think it's his last one as an Aggie. Because, again, I don't have a lot of expectations for this football team. And I think Jimbo Fisher, maybe he's lost his fastball a little bit. He's now unwilling. He hires Bobby Petrino. He's asked about the play calling today. He refuses to say if Bobby Petrino is going to be calling the plays. It seems like it's just a train wreck waiting to happen. Last year certainly was. And again, we look at the schedules. This is a 5-game stretch for Texas A&M as we get into the year. At Arkansas, hosting Alabama, at Tennessee, hosting South Carolina, at Ole Miss. Now, if you were an elite team, you'd look at that and say, okay, well, we could go at worst 3-2, 4-1. But where they are, I think that could be the 5-game run that ultimately sinks them.
We predicted, Frank, that Jimbo would be ornery, cranky. I think he was all of that, and I think that's partially why he's not coming down to Radio Row.
Part of it's who he is.
Right.
He's an ornery guy when they're 12-0. That's just he was at FSU. But let's assume they go 6-6 and he gets fired. Okay? Because I think if they go 6-6, he's going to get fired, no matter what the buyout is.
They have like the 6th biggest endowment of any university in the country.
And you always find a way to go.
Yeah, they will fire him and give him the money.
FSU couldn't afford to fire Willie Taggart. And they did it anyway. You can always find the money to fire a guy.
And Matt Hayes, I thought, brought up a great point yesterday about the Tennessee thing. Texas A&M could just decide to turn themselves in for something.
Right.
There's got to be something that they could
Right.
self-report.
That's right.
And if it enabled them to fire Jimbo Fisher with cause, even if the NCAA came back and gave them a fine like they gave Tennessee of $8 million,
Saves a lot of money.
cheaper.
you just saved $62 million.
Yeah. So I think it's a great point, but I think they're going to fire him if he goes 6-6. So what then for Jimbo Fisher? I mean, because the good is he's been a good football coach. There's no denying that. He's both a coordinator and a head coach. He's been a good recruiter at times. But he has failed miserably in this job. And he's not positive spirit guy that's going to get another job because you want to be around him. He's cranky guy. I've said this many times. Hugh Freeze, who hopefully will get on the show this week, bought himself a lot of goodwill despite all the negative stuff he was involved in, because he's a good guy. People want to be around him. People want him to be their coach. People want to spend time with him. Jimbo's not that guy. So if Jimbo Fisher got fired, what kind of job would be next? He's not a TV guy. What kind of job would be next?
I think he'd be an offensive coordinator for a year would be my guess. And I do think he's going to be back in the SEC. I could see, South Carolina hiring Jimbo Fisher once Beamer moves on. I could see Ole Miss hiring Jimbo Fisher when and if Lane Kiffin decided to move on. So I think Jimbo Fisher could still be a coach in this league, but he's not going to get, the big job. He's going to have to take a job in the bottom half, and he wouldn't get Oklahoma if they fired Venables. They're not touching Jimbo Fisher. I think he could be back in the SEC as a head coach, but it would not be at one of the top 8 schools in the league.
Yeah, I think it would be really interesting because Jimbo Fisher is a guy now that I think has frustrated a lot of people along the way in his tenure at Texas A&M, not just because of the money, but because of the stuff with Nick Saban, just how he is in general. I don't know that he would get a great job the next time around.
His first 6 years at Florida State. First 7 years. First 7 years at Florida State. 10-4, 9-4, 12-2, 14-0, 13-1, 10-3, 10-3. He was remarkably good as a Seminoles head coach until that last year when they were 5-6, and quite frankly, they quit trying.
Yeah, he checked out.
Yeah, he checked out. But until that last year, he had one heck of a winning record at Florida State.
He may want to go back to the ACC because the path of resistance. I mean, you'd much rather be at Virginia Tech, I think, than you would be at Ole Miss or South Carolina.
He was 78-17 at Florida State before the last year. 78-17.
Yeah.
That's a remarkable record.
Oh, it is. It's similar. Kirby's is a little better at Georgia, but it's close to what Kirby Smart is at Georgia. Kirby Smart, I think, is like 84-15 or something like that. So on par with with the dominance Kirby Smart has had. So yeah, I mean, Jimbo Fisher was right on top at Florida State. And I think he's gotten lost a little bit, and for whatever reason, it just has not worked at College Station, even though, he got the resources, he got the support he wanted. Obviously, he went from one outstanding recruiting base to another, but he can't get it done to the level that they are paying him to get it done. And I don't think it's going to happen this year.
What if he had gone to LSU? We know that he flirted with LSU when he was at Florida State. Yeah. Always wanted more money and things like that. What if he had gone to LSU? Is he winning?
Yes.
I think so too.
I do too, but it's a great question because why would he be winning at LSU if he can't win at A&M? Now LSU's a better program. A&M's a pretty good program. Why would you be able to win at one and not the other? And so having said that, I agree with you. I say that, but I feel the same way you do.
Because he's going to get better recruits year in, year out at LSU.
Yeah.
He's only going to get the highest recruiting class in the nation, A&M, the 1 year that he can pay them.
This year, that big game, Hayes, you singled it out. They play in the second week of the season. They play at Miami.
Got to win that game.
And both of them do.
That's definitely loser leaves town. The loser of that game is going to be really picking up the ashes of their program. Miami would get a little bit more of a pass. It's Cristobal's second year, but it's a home game. So it's still going to be a bad loss. But for Jimbo Fisher, if he loses at Miami week 2, he is going to be squarely on the hot seat as he heads into the conference slate.
If they win that game, they're going to beat New Mexico before it and Louisiana Monroe after. So if they win the Miami game, they start 3-0 as they go into the league, and then the first 3 games are home games. Now it's Auburn, Arkansas, Alabama. They're not easy home games, but if you win those 3, it'd be nice to be 3-0 with the win at Miami, and your first 3 games are home games in the conference. So they could get off to a pretty good start here.
I think they could. If I had to pick it today, I'd probably take Texas A&M to beat Miami on the road.
I would too.
I do think, I think they're going to start 4-0, but I think then it's going to become. I think they're headed to 4 losses. I think he probably finishes 8-4, maybe 7-5. If he's 8-4, do they fire him?
No way.
I wouldn't think.
I don't think so either.
So
I think even 7-5 because of the buyout, they're not firing.
See, I think if he's 7-5, he'd be fired. They'll pay the buyout. They have the money. They'll and again, Tennessee just gave you a roadmap to firing your coach, paying a fine to the NCAA. But again, no one's ever going to get massive sanctions again. So I'm not saying that would be a great path for Texas A&M to take. But it might save them a lot of money if it enabled them to fire Jimbo with cause.
Yeah, speaking of sanctions in the Tennessee plan, I just read this today, I guess it was, that one of the things that kept bowl sanctions off the table, did you see this? That the Tennessee Attorney General got involved and threatened to sue the NCAA if Tennessee's players, now none of whom had anything to do with the problem, didn't get to go to a bowl game. So the Tennessee Attorney General did his part to protect those players. Interesting stuff. All right, speaking of Tennessee, we'll take a break. My buddy Jimmy Himes joins us. Jimmy is recently retired, he says, but he's doing more work now than he ever has. He was with he was certainly with the Sports Animal in Knoxville for all those years. When we come back, Jimmy Himes talks SEC football. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
First of all, congratulations on the show.
Join the 1010XL Podcast Network.
How do you like being in a real studio?
Now you can find all your favorite 1010XL podcasts in your platform of choice.
Attention car buyers, are you noticing markups on vehicles on dealer lots? Well, come to Key Buick GMC, where we never have markups on our vehicles. Ask for Derek or Brian, where we have fair value pricing, no additional markups, as well as the only Buick GMC dealer with a lifetime powertrain warranty on all new Buicks and GMCs. That's only at Key Buick GMC. We are professional grade across from Tinseltown on the corner of South Side and Gate, or go to our website, keybuickgmc.com.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Frank Frangie here. Do you find yourself straining to catch every word, missing out on the sweet sounds of life? Then you need to go to see Jerry Howard at Ponte Vedra Hearing Associates. His team will assess your hearing needs with a free screening and recommend a personalized solution. Ponte Vedra Hearing Associates offers professional quality hearing health care with the most competitive pricing. Call 404-5108. That's 404-5108 or visit pontevedrahearing.com today.
If you're looking for exterior solutions that provide you reliability and durability, it's time to call Armor Guard Exteriors. Whether you need seamless gutters or gutter protection, hurricane products, impact windows, glass lanais, or retractable awnings and screens, we've got you covered. Call My Home Team today for your 5-star experience at 904-906-8669.
Armor Guard Exteriors, committed to quality, and that's a promise.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Boating is in your blood. You live for your time on the water and can't wait for your next adventure. At Batteries Plus, we have solutions to help power what moves you. Whether it's a deep cycle battery for your trolling motor or an onboard charger to make the day last a little longer, you'll find it at Batteries Plus. Shop boating essentials at your nearest Batteries Plus or visit us online at batteriesplus.com.
Come to Bowden Eye for all your eye care needs. Hicken here. Did you know that dry eye disease affects up to 60 million Americans? Dry eye disease is known to progress. Dry eye disease is one of the most common but least diagnosed eye conditions doctors see in their patients. Many of us who have dry eye may not even feel it. At Bowden Eye and Associates, visit today for your personal consultation. Keeping the First Coast focused. Bowden Eye and Associates. New location now open off County Road 210 in St. Johns County.
Hey, this is Jason with Bueller Air Conditioning. Why do we love to go to that awesome grocery store where shopping is a pleasure? Why do we choose that amazing chicken sandwich where the service is fast and friendly and it's always their pleasure? You see, those brands are a promise. Here at Bueller Air, our team is committed to serving the customer and delivering that same kind of brand promise. Our mission is to be the most trusted brand with friendly and professional service every single time. Give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey Jacksonville, we need your help. It may be summer, but school is just around the corner. Hundreds of local homeless, at-risk, and low-income students need school supplies. One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, is collecting school supplies through July 30th, so our most vulnerable kids can start the school year right. Be a good person and help us fill 350 backpacks this summer. Bring donations to your nearest One-to-One Financial branch. Learn more and find the closest branch at one-to-one-fcu.org. And don't forget, the school supply tax holiday is the last week of July. Thanks, Jacksonville.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Andy's Automotive and Truck Service, LLC. The Jaguars over the weekend struck a 3-year, $41 million+ contract extension with tight end Evan Ingram. ESPN's Mike DiRocco, a guest of Jaguars Today. What does he think about the deal?
Good deal for both sides. Mainly, obviously, Ingram now locked himself up, $24 million guaranteed. And a good deal for the Jags, too, because, it's only going to cost them I think it's a little over $5 million, just like Demetrius said, for the cap hit this year, which opens up some space, and they get a guy, locked in.
ESPN's Mike DiRocco, a guest of Jaguars Today on the Evan Ingram extension. 90 degrees at 5:01, time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, the official kickoff of college football season. All-weather contractors SEC Media Days. Presented by South State Bank. This segment is brought to you by Coastal Equipment, Bueller Air Conditioning, and Hastings Injury Law Firm on 1010XL.
We thank all our sponsors for bringing us here, including Hastings Injury Law Firm. My buddy Brett Hastings, they put on that kickoff cook-off September 1st this year where they raise money for the J Fund. They do such great work right there on Beach Boulevard. So come on out and have a big time. Frangie with you. Hazen and Lauren will be joining me in a minute. But my buddy Jimmy Himes is here. Now, look, you're supposed to be retired, but you don't look very retired right now. You look like you're working here. How you doing?
I just look tired, not retired. Huh?
How are you?
I'm doing great, Frank. How you doing?
I am doing great. Great to see you here. Now, tell people what you are doing. You're retired. You spend time with your grandson. I see this on Twitter.
Sure do.
But I know you're still doing a lot of work for the Sports Animal.
Well, not a lot. I'm doing a little bit.
Some work.
So I'm doing, they asked me to cover the football media days for them. I told them I would. I covered the spring meetings in Destin. I do golf talk on Monday nights.
Yep.
Because nobody covers golf in Knoxville. It's disappointing. It's a great golf town. So that's all I'm doing. During football season, I'm going to do a Saturday and a Sunday show.
Okay.
I'll be watching the games anyway, so when I get paid.
That's right.
So
that's
hey,
right.
so that's what I'm doing. Nothing. I'm trying to stay away from that Monday to Friday stuff.
Yeah. I get you did that long enough, didn't you?
That's right. I don't want that daily grind.
I get it. Now let's talk. A lot of things to talk about. Let's start with Tennessee. Let's not bury the lead. The news came out. A big probation hit them, but it could have been worse. There was not a bowl ban, and now it's kind of behind them.
Yeah.
What did you make of it? Did the NCAA get it right? Is it what people expected in Knoxville?
Well, I thought they got it right, and a lot of people in Knoxville expected it, and I expected it because I'd been told since March that because Tennessee had cooperated, they were not going to get a bowl ban.
Right.
And I'd had some sources that told me they will face a significant fine, but they're not going to get the bowl ban. So the fine, $8 million, that's pretty significant. That's the biggest fine ever. I wasn't surprised with all the punishment. There were a couple of people that escaped it that I thought might get hit. But Jeremy Pruitt getting a 6-year show cause, not a surprise. There was one woman I was told that actually was very cooperative.
Yeah.
The attorneys, the UT attorneys, told her she would get immunity if she testified, and so she did, and she got a 10-year show cause.
Wow.
How about that one?
How about 10-year?
Yes.
Yeah.
So $8 million fine. The visits, nobody uses up all their visits anyway. I don't think that's huge. Frank, they got 28 scholarships over 5 years, but they'd already self-imposed 16. So now it's 12 scholarships over 5 years, which is, 2.2 a year.
Right.
You can overcome that. That's not an issue. So from the perspective of how it affects Tennessee's performance on the field, very minimal. I don't think it really has any impact at all.
Jimmy, what happens to Jeremy Pruitt? Now, not only did he get a 6-year show cause, but if anybody hires him, he's immediately suspended for a year.
Right.
So who's going to hire him? How do you? That would take the NCAA out of play, wouldn't it?
He either goes NFL,
right,
which I heard he didn't have a good experience with the Giants.
Okay.
Or he could go back to coaching high school football.
Because that's probably it, isn't it? Yeah.
Now, he had told some people that if Tennessee didn't pay him, he was going to sue him.
Right.
Tennessee fired him for cause. When you get a 6-year show cause, what's your defense on why Tennessee should pay you?
Yeah.
So Tennessee's not going to pay him, and I don't see how he's going to file suit and win it because he's got that clause in his contract. The only way he could have won a suit was for the NCAA to come back and give him no show cause and say he really didn't do anything wrong. So I think that I'd be shocked if he gets anything out of Tennessee.
Let me go back to what you said a minute ago. You said some people got away, didn't get hit that you thought would get hit. Anybody of significance?
Yeah, Jeremy Pruitt's wife.
Okay, yeah.
I thought she would get some kind of show cause. And Philip Fulmer.
Yeah.
I thought he didn't come away looking very good on this thing.
Yeah,
if he didn't know, he should have known.
Yeah.
And then his response to some of the emails that I read were like, to be honest with you, it came across like he was a little bit clueless about what was going on. A lot of people believe he knew.
Yeah.
And did not get hit, but I did not think he came away looking very good on this situation.
That whole people forget that whole deal. John Curry was about to hire Greg Schiano. Then the pushback happened.
Yeah.
Curry's out. Schiano doesn't get hired. Fulmer's in. Pruitt goes in. We forget that part. That was a crazy time.
It was
for Tennessee.
It's one of the most bizarre coaching searches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What happened was John Curry was trying to hire Dan Mullen.
Oh.
And Mullen slow played Tennessee because he wanted the Florida job.
Got it.
And so plan B was Greg Schiano.
Got it.
Well, when that blew up, and it shouldn't have blown up, but when it did blow up, Curry did not have a plan C.
Okay.
And a lot of people had signed off on Schiano, including Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And then when the reaction came across and they didn't hire him, then Curry hit the panic button and orchestrated one of the most bizarre coaching searches you've ever seen. It led to his ouster, it led to Fulmer coming in.
Yeah.
And by the time Fulmer came in, the pool of candidates wasn't very wide.
Yeah, so that's what happened.
So he settles on Pruitt.
Final thought on Tennessee. It looks like, despite all of that, And it's been a tough go for the Vols, man. I mean, all the losses to Alabama, all the losses to Florida, tough seasons, irrelevance really in college football. But it looks like they might have gotten that fixed. Josh Heupel looks legit. The AD I know is legit. This looks like after a lot of gnashing of teeth, maybe Tennessee got it right now. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. I think that Josh Heupel the last 2 years has done a marvelous job. He really has. Look what he inherited.
Yeah.
He inherited a program where by the time it was all said and done, 40-something players left the program. Now, some of them retired because of injury. Some of them were let out of their letter of intent, and about 38 of them transferred out of the program. So he was left with a mess, but he didn't complain about it. He went out and won 7 games. Last year he won 11. He's one of the best offensive coaches, play callers in the country. He is outstanding at that, and he's put together a nice staff. Now, the thing he's got to do is recruit more studs on defense, but his offenses will always be good. And I think a down year for him will be a down year is 8 wins.
Yeah.
Because I think he'll win 9 this year, maybe 10 if they win a bowl game. But I think he's got it going in the right direction. I think he's such a great play caller and offensive mind that defenses won't catch up to him. He will stay one step ahead of them, I think.
Let's go around the league a little bit. We'll start with the division. The last year we have divisions. How has Georgia done this? Just more good players? It seems like old school, they just have more of those 4s and 5s than anybody else, don't they?
They do. And it was interesting hearing Brian Kelly, LSU's coach, earlier today, talking about chasing Georgia. He said, well, the thing you got to do is you got to get out there and recruit better. And he said, if we caught up to Georgia, no.
Yeah, right.
We're not ready to match their talent yet. Kirby Smart has done a terrific job recruiting. And then he won 2 national championships with a guy that was a walk-on quarterback at one point.
Yeah.
I didn't see that happening. I don't think a lot of people did. But he surrounded him with such great players. And their defenses have been marvelous. He took a page out of Nick Saban's playbook, and he's out Saban the last 2 years, in my opinion.
That's a good transition. So where is Alabama compared to Georgia? Georgia's number 1. I mean, Georgia has the best program and the best talent pool in the country. Nobody would debate that. Yeah. Is there a gap between them and Alabama, or is Alabama an eyelash behind?
I think there's a little bit of a gap.
You do?
There was a time, like last year, I would have said Georgia 1A, Alabama 1B.
Yeah.
Now it's Georgia 1, Alabama 2.
Okay.
I think that, and here's the thing, too. This is the most concerned quarterback situation Alabama's had in years. Probably going back to what? Blake Sims and
Jacob
Coker.
Yeah, that's
when
right.
you weren't sure who was going to win the job, and Sims ends up winning. I just don't see them getting the production at quarterback. Look at the run they've had.
Yeah.
So they've had outstanding play since Jalen Hurts to Tua to Mac Jones to Bryce Young.
Yeah.
I don't see that for them. Now, I still think they're really good in a lot of areas. I think Georgia's a little bit better. I think Georgia will be better quarterback. And so I think Georgia is a notch ahead of Alabama right now.
If you did a power poll, Georgia 1, Alabama 2, then LSU, how would you do a power poll? And then what? Tennessee? Yeah, they're about there.
Yeah, now, a lot of what happens at Tennessee depends on whether Joe Milton is consistently good.
Yeah.
If he plays all year like he did against Clemson, Tennessee will be fine.
Yeah.
But he was not consistent earlier in his career at Tennessee. Now, this is his 3rd year in the system.
Yeah.
So that suggests he should be more consistent.
Yeah.
And here's the thought, too. If Anthony Richardson could be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, then so can Joe Milton.
Well, Joe Milton's clearly trying to be Anthony Richardson. He's back flipping and throwing the ball 80 yards. He's trying to be the next Anthony Richardson.
I mean, and now here's a big difference. Richardson was a hell of a runner.
Yeah.
Well, Milton has speed, and he could be a really good runner, but he doesn't like to run. That's a huge difference. I think Richardson liked to run, and he would like to rip off a 70-yard run. That's not the case with Milton. Milton might go 7. He might go 17, but he ain't going 70.
But Richardson, I'll tell you this, watching every play, the problem with Anthony Richardson, he was the 4th pick in the draft, which is magnificent. But he was just an okay college player, as you know, because the one thing quarterbacks have to do is make the easy throws, and he didn't always make those. I mean, I'm telling you, there were times Anthony Richardson carried a team on his back, and won improbable games like that Utah game. There's other games that he wasn't very good against teams that aren't that good. So back to Joe Milton. Will Joe Milton be because the little bit I've seen him, he looked erratic when I saw Milton. That's why he lost the job to Hooker, I think. Right. How consistent do you think Milton can be?
Well, I think he can be really consistent, not as consistent as Hooker.
Yeah.
But I'll go back. His third year in the system, he should be better. Now, Richardson was in the system for a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, he did have a coaching change.
Yeah,
in
but
there.
Napier's system was new. Yeah.
But I think you will see more consistent Milton. Will he have a couple of games where you scratch your head? Probably.
Yeah.
But and by the way, one of Richardson's best games was against Tennessee, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He was great against the Vols.
Almost won the game.
Yeah.
Had to throw at the end of the game against a good Tennessee team. Yeah. What are your expectations from Hugh Freeze in Auburn? He'll be here this week.
My expectations at Auburn is they'll be a 500 team that'll scratch their way to get to a bowl game.
Okay.
I don't expect a lot. I don't like him at quarterback. Maybe he could get something out of one of the quarterbacks, but I don't like any of them. I don't think the supporting cast is that good. I think a quarterback has to play excellent for them to get to an 8 or 9 win season. I don't see that.
Same question for Texas A&M. Jimbo was here today. He was kind of curmudgeonly. He was in an angry mood. You saw him. Is he on the? How hot is his seat? What's he got to do to keep the job, and what will they do?
With every year that he doesn't achieve, it gets hotter because the buyout gets lower.
Yeah.
He's got Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a really good marriage, or is that oil and water?
Yeah.
Will he really turn it over to Petrino and let him call the plays or not?
That's the question.
Now, I'll say this. A&M has got talent. They've got some really good players, much more talented than, say, Auburn.
Yeah.
But it all boils down to the quarterback, Connor Wegman. And can Petrino instill that offense and get them to be a much better offensive team than they've been the last few years? Just heard Anaya Smith talking earlier about it, the wide receiver, about how impressed and how much they like Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
So will Jimbo Fisher's ego step aside to allow Petrino's ego to take over the offense?
You know, you're right. You know, the funny thing about that too is for Jimbo to bring in another play caller, it almost has to be kind of angry, pissy guy that will stand up to Jimbo when he tries to overrule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't going to bring in some young hotshot play caller because Jimbo was going to overrule that guy 3 games in. But don't you think by bringing in Petrino's as strong-willed as he is, which may keep Jimbo from micromanaging. Don't you think? That was what I thought when he hired him.
Yeah, it could, but if he doesn't,
then it's a fight. They don't just have a fight.
Exactly.
They'll just have a fight.
Somebody was asking about that earlier about those two, and I'm like, if things don't start well at A&M, then those two I think will be at it like cats and dogs.
Let me give you 3 teams in the East.
All right.
I think they're all bunched together. Florida, who has less expectations or lower expectations than any time they've ever been here. I think they may get voted 5th here in the East this week. If they do, that will be the lowest they've ever been voted since this thing started, since the division started in '92. Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky. South Carolina and Kentucky feel upwardly mobile. Florida feels like they got a good recruiter now, but let's see if they can coach and the talent's way down. How do you see those 3 teams?
Boy, I don't think any of those teams are going to be very good. I don't know that any of them is going to win 8. There's a part of me that wants to put South Carolina ahead of them because Rattler played terrific the last 3 games of the year.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Clemson, and Notre Dame. They won 2 of those. If he can keep playing like that, South Carolina is going to be a tough out. I don't like Florida at quarterback. I don't think they've got the surrounding talent that they usually have. Kentucky's a team. Stoops does a really solid job every year. I think Devin Leary, if he plays like he did in 2021 at NC State, they're really good. He can be better than Will Levis. I was surprised Levis when
I was very lukewarm on Levis too. I've said that on my show many times.
But if they can get out of Leary, so they got the Vanderbilt running back that gained 1,000 yards. They've got a couple of nice receivers and the defense is usually pretty solid. I'd probably go South Carolina, Kentucky, and Florida.
Yeah. All right.
And that sounds weird to put Florida there.
It sounds weird for us, but it's hard to argue it. I mean, we're not used to that. But look, it's funny. Florida is become, and I got a bunch of Gators hearing me right now, Florida has become about as mediocre. I mean, Florida's become Missouri. Now, that could change, But for today, they're Missouri. That's who they've become, which is an odd thing. Final thing, we'll let you go. How does it play out? Georgia and Alabama win the divisions. Does LSU win the West? Does the West team, whoever you pick, are they able to compete with Georgia? Where's this thing headed?
Well, Georgia's going to win the East, and they may win it comfortably. Alabama is going to be picked second in the West, which is why I'm picking them first.
Yeah.
Because Nick Saban, there's some rat poison out there.
Yes, there is.
And he's going to use that. So I think disrespecting Alabama is right where Saban wants it. Now, I'll be wrong if Alabama's quarterback play is mediocre.
Yeah.
I saw one quarterback listing in the SEC that had Alabama's quarterback ranked 10th in the league.
Yeah.
If at the end of the year we're saying Alabama's quarterback's 10th in the league, then they're not going to win the West because Jayden Daniels is too good.
I did the Gator Bowl game. I called it this year, and Tyler Buckner was the quarterback who he and Tommy Rees came together from Notre Dame to Alabama. So I agree with you. I'm like you. I think Alabama's going to win the West. I think Georgia's going to beat Alabama in the championship game, but I'm not picking LSU either. So you're going to have to prove it to me. I'm the same way you are. Jimmy Himes, great work as always. Man, it's great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Frank, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, you'll hear the comments of Brian Kelly. He joined Matt Hayes and me earlier today. We'll talk LSU football after this.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
You know Dan Hicken.
Keep it simple, stupid.
And you know Jeff Prosser.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks.
Mornings on the Drill.
So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
On 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
This is David Garrard, and after the doctors fixed my knees, I followed their recovery plan, and I'm as mobile as I was when I played in the NFL.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Of course, Roland Reich Plumbing has awards from Folio Weekly and the Bold City's Best. Now, Roland Reich is also confirmed as the Google Guaranteed Plumbing Service. Because when you do plumbing right, the word gets around. That's Roland Reich Plumbing.
Hurricane season is officially underway, and now's the perfect time to make sure your home is protected from those storms by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roofing project, plus flexible financing. This offer expires July 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Duval. Your Jaguars are locked in and ready to play. Our home schedule lineup features exciting matchups that you don't want to miss.
Into the end zone, touchdown.
After all our success this past season, the 2023 season is going to be one that you'll want to be a part of. With a variety of plans, we've got ticketing options for every budget. So visit jaguars.com/tickets to lock in the best seats at the bank or call 904-633-2000 to buy now.
Play fantasy golf against your favorite 1010XL personalities.
Oh, come on. What do you say? Are you in?
The Open Championship.
Fantastic show.
Win a family barbecue feast from Woody's Barbecue. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors. Enter at 1010XL.com.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
This is Hayes Carlion for Spickelmeyer Insurance Agency. I was paying too much for car insurance, paying for things I didn't need. My friend John Spickelmeyer fixed all that for me with impeccable customer service. For all your car insurance needs, call John at 471-7155.
When your vehicle needs an oil change, but you just haven't got the time, run into the newest Famous Quick Lube location on San Jose near Crown Point. It's the same fast, affordable vehicle care at your convenience. That's Famous Quick Lube.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting, prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. These intense summer storms are a good reminder to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Check out Pella's new Hurricane Shield and Defender series. These amazing windows exceed all coastal requirements for storm protection. Seriously, they can withstand the impact of a 2x4 shot out of a cannon at 50 feet per second. You want quality style and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway right next to Tesla. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
There's a new butcher in town. We're talking a vacuum marinating, sausage grinding, take and bake siding, value pricing, full service butcher. And our name is Southern Steer.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, Gators, Bulldogs, and every SEC team. All-weather contractors, SEC Media Days, presented by South State Bank. This segment is brought to you by High School 912, Ackerman Urology and Cancer Center, and Speckelmeyer Insurance on 1010XL.
We want to thank all our sponsors for making it happen. Certainly Ackerman Urology, our friend John Spickelmeyer, who you've known for, I don't know, about forever.
About forever, yep. Great guy, player of the year in the Times Union in '94 at center, which you almost never see. Yeah, went signed with Lou Holtz's Notre Dame, and a great friend and certainly fantastic. Saved me a bunch of money, which I certainly appreciate, and but I appreciate his friendship even more.
I have a feeling, by the way, John wasn't very happy when the news came out that Brian Kelly was leaving Notre Dame to go to
He was
LSU.
never a huge Brian Kelly guy. Right. So, I mean, I don't think he was. I think he likes Freeman. So I think he's encouraged.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he felt like it was kind of getting stagnant in South Bend.
My buddy Alan Verlander, also High School 912, one of our sponsors here. I want you to go on the website, highschool912.com. It's a wonderful charity that helps kids that ordinarily or possibly couldn't get to college. Of all the things they do, one of the coolest things is they have boot camps, SAT and ACT boot camps. Those tests aren't easy for everybody, and to learn how to take them, to test them, to take private or rehearsal exams, if you will, to learn how to really be taught how to do well, because the better you do, the better chance you have of getting Bright Futures money, the better chance you have of being able to afford college, and that's a big deal, and it's one of the many things. Financial literacy is a big part. Just children in difficult areas, helping them get to college, helping them find scholarship dollars, that is a big deal to High School 912, a big deal. And they need funding, and you can help them with that funding. And again, I'm proud to have them as a sponsor. It makes perfect sense that they're sponsoring this cool event here, JAX, J-A-X, highschool912.com. Earlier today, Matt Hayes and I caught up with one of the most intriguing and talked about coaches here in the SEC, LSU coach Brian Kelly. Coach, good to see you. Frank Frangie, how are you? And Coach Kelly's going to join us right now. Busy day in his dapper Navy suit.
Look how good you look.
And you saw it pay dividends in year one, and I would anticipate it's going to pay dividends in year two. I think if you told me who's going to be a playoff team outside of the Georgias, Alabamas, Ohio States, who's maybe that second tier, I'd take LSU. I mean, I think because even if they lose to Florida State, like he said, yeah, that wouldn't be a death sentence. That game to me is almost a bonus for whichever program wins it. It's certainly not anything that's going to be a detriment. And I like the fact that they have the confidence now that they can beat Alabama. That game is late in the year. They go to Alabama November 4th, which could be really intriguing for LSU because this doesn't normally happen. They go to Alabama. The next week they host Florida. That game is very deep into the schedule from where it normally is. So, again, we don't know what the Gators are going to be. Will that be a game that they've got to really get back up for because Florida's a surprise? Or is that a game where, okay, now you may have just beaten Alabama on the road, don't let your guard down and lose to a struggling Florida team. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic there in November. Then they get a patsy. Then they close against Texas A&M. But LSU, I think, has the chance to go 11-1.
We'll take a break. When we come back, I was going to do it now, but we're up on a break. I do want you to hear the comments of that terrific quarterback, Jayden Daniels. That's after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The British Open will be getting underway on Thursday at Hoylake, also known as Royal Liverpool. It last hosted the Open Championship in 2014, which was won by Rory McIlroy. Scottie Scheffler is the betting favorite. He is at plus 650. McIlroy is coming off a win on Sunday at the Scottish Open, is at plus 700. John Rahm, this year's Masters champion, at plus 1200. Cameron Smith, who won the British Open last year, at plus 1600. Brooks Koepka, the reigning PGA champion, at plus 2,000. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VC.
Introducing an exciting update from Duck Rooter. We're thrilled to expand our services with the launch of Duck Air Conditioning. As a fully licensed mechanical contractor, our skilled team is equipped to handle any air conditioning and refrigeration project you have in mind. Contact Duck Air Conditioning today at 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769. Or visit us online at duckac.com. Duck Air Conditioning, your reliable partner in air conditioning and refrigeration services.
You will love your new custom windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen. For a limited time, get $289 off every window and $589 off all patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Enjoy the beauty and quality that only Renewal by Andersen offers. This offer expires July 31st and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Mike Dempsey for Dandy Foods, and happy to report that Dandy has brand new goodies out there, only available at select gate locations. 4 delicious new lunch items to choose from: a hot roast beef and provolone, an Italian Cabo that'll melt in your mouth, spicy buffalo chicken, or a big old juicy 100% beef cheeseburger. They're all served on fresh ciabatta bread, baked locally and delivered daily, just as you'd expect from the folks that bring you fresh, never frozen goodness.
Got that hometown flavor creeping up on you, yeah.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can now do it in less than a week. Hey, it's Prosser here, and that's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You you can get $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. And you don't even have to touch your primary mortgage, so you can keep that 3% rate intact. Just get the money you need and pay off all those credit cards, or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Did you know that weight loss surgery is the most effective solution for obesity, according to the National Institutes of Health? If you've tried everything and you're still struggling with weight loss, a procedure at Baptist Health could be your solution. Our personalized program is a center of excellence with a full team to support you every step of the way. Is it time to reclaim your health? To see if you qualify, call 904-202-SLIM or visit BaptistBariatrics.com.
If you miss any interviews from your favorite coaches and players at All Weather Contractors SEC Media Days presented by South State Bank, catch them on demand at 1010XL.com. Brought to you by Instant Keys and Baptist Bariatrics.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been serving golfers since 1968. Let us help you find the hottest gear from bags, balls, shoes, and apparel. All in stock at the best prices. Come in and test drive the latest arrivals from Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, and more. While you're there, get custom fit by one of our golf experts. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at EdwinWattsGolfShops.com.
Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying. They can also signal a major problem or electrical emergency. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8-SPARKY. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career and come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and Twitter to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community-owned utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
Ackerman Urology's new Beaches location is now open, conveniently located on Atlantic Boulevard near Hodges. Visit the experts at Ackerman for all your prostate and urological concerns. AckermanUrology.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Bringing SEC football to you. All-weather contractors SEC Media Days. Presented by South State Bank. This segment is brought to you by Window World of Northeast Florida. The Yas Method for pain-free movement. And Coastal Equipment on 1010XL.
Welcome back. 1 segment ago on day one here from Nashville. I keep wanting to say Birmingham. We're not in Birmingham. We're in Nashville, right?
That's correct.
Nashville, Tennessee. When we come back tomorrow, we will have Kirby Smart among the litany of coaches as it really gets going on day two. But today we had LSU, we had Texas A&M, we had Missouri. You heard from the coaches. I want you to hear from one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Earlier today, Matt Hayes and I caught up with LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels. Jayden, how are you? Frank Frangie, nice to meet you. Put that headset on, and we'll be ready to go. Looking style. I like the suit, man. How are you?
touchdown, and then they missed the extra point. Yeah, block it. And so I'm not promising a closer game, but I think we are going to see a 5-star game once again out of those two. And again, the good I know you don't want to hear this if you're the team that loses, particularly moments after you lose that game. You're always going to be disappointed. But I really feel like for both those programs, they have so much momentum right now that if that game is close, goes right down to the wire, I think the loser of that game, you're only dropping a spot or two in the poll, if any.
The cool part about that game is both teams expect to win.
That's right.
Going into it, they both expect to win. That's what's fun.
Lauren, what were your takeaways from day one? What jumped off the page for you?
Well, I think getting to see Brian Kelly and Jayden Daniels, that we just got to hear from them, they're guys that have poise and confidence, and I think they have high expectations for their season. I didn't get to talk to Eli Drinkwitz, but he seems like a guy who knows that Missouri is going to be a tough place to win, but he likes his team. But I think overall, just being here in Nashville, everybody seems to really like Music City as opposed to Birmingham.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I was surprised we didn't get much out of Greg Sankey at the podium.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to hear you guys' interview when you get him. One thing that I think Greg Sankey talks about is the scheduling, and he's like the 8-game model, 1 permanent rival, 7 rotate. When they go to 9, 3 permanents, and then 6 rotate. I don't know why it has to be 3 permanents, and no one's really asked.
I think they're going to be an underdog, Frank, probably in 7 of their 12 games.
Yeah, they're going to be expected to win between 5 and 6 games. That's the expectations. As weird as it feels to say that about a Florida Gator football team, those will be the expectations, that they will be a 5 or 6 win team. So we'll see what winds up happening. All right, very good. What's coming up tonight, Hack?
Yeah, a lot of college football talk. We'll certainly play some of the comments of Brian Kelly. You guys just talked to him there at SEC Media Days, and certainly some NFL talk as well as training camps begin opening. I think the Jets are the first team in middle of this week, so we'll have Dave Campo, our head coach here on Hacker After Dark. He's coming up tonight in about 20 minutes, and also our AFC South preview. We'll head to Nashville. Tyler Rowland, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast, they are fired up where you guys are that DeAndre Hopkins is on his way to town. So we'll talk a little Tennessee Titans tonight as well.
All right, sounds good. All coming up tonight when Hacker is After Dark. Thank you, Hacker. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, Frank.
All right, that'll do it for our program. Do want to thank once again Jimmy Himes and the LSU contingent, the A&M contingent, Missouri. Those were the teams today. A full slate scheduled for you tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. Hacker goes into the night right now. Nope, that's not right. Blue goes in tonight. Hacker goes after dark right now.
Hacker goes into the darkness.
Maybe Hacker goes into the night after dark.
There you go.
But, Hacker will have it for you. He does a terrific job, and he comes up right now. Blue is on vacation. We'll see you tomorrow live from Nashville for a second day. For Hayes, for Lauren.